The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. Why don't we just wait here for a little while, see what happens?
Do you want to die, Sidney?
For England, James? No.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Look what you did to him!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
As you can see, I'm not here.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Macho Movie Madness.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm Brandon. Alongside me always is Andrew, and today we are going to be doing a versus, and this is a special versus for me because this is two of my favorite buddy cop movies of all time. Probably. Like top notch. You can't get much better, and this might be a difficult one.
Yeah.
Because, and it was a difficult one. We got Kenny's picks. He's not here today. We'll be discussing those two, but I think we're still a little torn even right now.
Yeah.
Like this is rough because we're big fans of buddy cop movies, action movies. We're big fans of Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
And Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 are pretty much neck and neck for me.
Lethal Weapon's amazing, but Lethal Weapon 2, to me, it's right in there with the greatest sequels ever made, like Terminator 2.
Oh, for sure.
Godfather 2. Yeah.
For sure. Because it feels, it's not, story-wise it's not, but it feels just 1 and 2. Like 1 and 2 are like just one right there. Like they didn't miss a beat. You know, they kind of just amped up a couple things. But yeah, super great, man. There's nothing wrong with either one of these movies. I can't even think of any negatives about those two movies. And really the whole series is good. I like 3 too. But anyway, we're going to talk Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. We're going to pit them up head to head today. And we're going to see if we can figure out which one, for us three anyway, is the better movie. We got Lethal Weapon 1 that came out in 1987. Danny Glover, Mel Gibson, Riggs and Murtaugh. The ultimate buddy cop duo, man. You got a black guy, you got a white guy. You got a guy who's too old for this shit, and then you got the crazy white one with the awesome hair,
with a death wish.
Both of them were directed by Richard Donner. Which did he do the whole series?
Yeah, up until this new one that's coming out, which Mel's taken over.
Yeah, which I cannot wait to see what that's going to be about.
Yeah,
Danny Glover really old for this shit. He was like 40 in this movie, which he looked older than that. Richard Donner did this. If you might recognize that name, he's done a bunch of other stuff too. He actually did Superman 2. Which did he do Superman 1 and 2?
I don't know.
Or just do Superman 2?
It's been forever since
there's a Donner cut. I think he got hired for Superman and Superman 2, and then there was a Donner cut of that, which people usually prefer, and then they actually replaced him. Something happened, they replaced. I don't know. We'll get into that on another video. But he was a part of the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve in the 70s, 80s, and early. I think he actually might have done.
Well, he's done some really good movies.
He's been a part of some big stuff. And forgive me for not remembering exactly what that situation was. I think he might have done the first one and then started the second one because they were going to do, they shot him the same time, I think. And then, anyway.
Yeah. That's kind of like the script to this one. Shane Black, who is Hawkins in Predator, he wrote the first movie, and then he wrote the first draft of this movie, and they ended up bringing in another writer to put more humor into it. That's where you get the Leo Getz character in the second one.
This man, they did such a good job. Holy shit. This could be hard.
Yeah, this is gonna. I still haven't worked a couple of these out in my head.
Well, we're gonna have to try. So, Lethal Weapon was released in 1987. Lethal Weapon 2 was just 2 years later, 1989. And $15 million budget for the first one, and $30 million for 2, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, that was 1988 $1988, $89. And, we were just talking about this. Halloween Ends was made for $33, which I don't know how. But yeah, $15 million, $120.2 million at the box office for the first one and its run, and $227.9 million for the second one and its run. So it really, both definitely went up there. That's awesome. That's a great return. And I'm sure marketing was nothing near what it is today.
Right.
So, I guess we can get right into it. Story, setting, acting, action, and antagonist is the 5 categories we're going with today. We'll get started. We'll just go down the list like we always do. And is there anything you want to say about these movies before we get started?
No, I love them both. I like the first 3 a lot, but the first 2 are definitely the best of the bunch.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've not really come to a definitive answer in my head which one is the best. That's why we're here today.
Yeah. Even then, I don't know if it'll really, really settle well, but we'll see. Like I said, I got Kenny's picks. We're going to start off story number 1. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can take story. Overall, for story, I'm going to go Lethal Weapon 1. This is more of a character piece between the two. This is more establishing them. But what I like about Lethal Weapon 1, the action, yes, it's a great action movie, but action is secondary to the characters.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
the story they have to tell there.
Yeah, for sure.
About how Riggs is suicidal. Is he really suicidal, or is he just after that crazy pension?
Yeah.
He gives enough. There's enough scenes here where you could lean either way with that. There is a great plot here with the whole Hunsucker thing and the Shadow Company.
Yes.
And, his daughter died, but it's, the reason why, because he's in with these guys who are dealing heroin. Never deal heroin with Gary Busey.
No, that's never good. The ultimate he is heroin.
Yeah. I had to take it for that. I do love the plot of 2. I think the stakes aren't quite as high with the South African diplomats. I don't think it's quite as even though they are killing off, all of the police detectives in crazy ways, like that diving board bomb and everything. Yeah. And, of course, the toilet, we'll get to that later. Yeah. But anyway, I felt like there was more danger. And the one thing that kind of makes me mad about the second film that really pushed me to go toward the original is the guy that he calls Adolf. Is Adolf the henchman in the movie, or is he the main guy? I can't remember. But I thought he called the main guy. Okay.
Adolf,
well, his henchman,
before he shot the tank.
Curly Mo.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the henchman is who I meant. It's implied late in the movie that he actually killed Riggs's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing is...
And that happened way before the first one, in the first one, so like that would have been...
That whole plot point is wonky to me.
Yeah,
because you can tell
I'll give you that.
Early in the movie, it's like they don't know each other.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they break this on you to give Riggs more reason to try to kill this guy. And I felt like that kind of... I watched this recently after not seeing it in a while, and I'm like, I don't know that I buy that.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. That's true. That's a good point. Kenny ended up picking 2, and you gotta just right off the bat, he's one of those guys too. He's just like us. He had a hard time.
Yeah,
and he went ahead and settled on that, but it could really go either way, I think, in all these categories for any of us.
Yeah,
and he made sure to specify that when he gave us these picks. But he did settle on 2. I am picking 1, and I almost went 2 because I do like that whole thing, the diplomatic immunity. I love that, and I do like the story here. I like there's more added to it. Obviously, bringing in Joe Pesci, but I really got to thinking. It's like you said, I really got to thinking about the Riggs' character, and it really establishes him and Glover's partnership and trust in this, and there's a lot of scenes, both funny and serious, about his mental state.
Yeah. And
most of it was funny. But yeah, this was done really, really well. And the only reason why I edged it to 1 is because of Riggs.
Yeah.
Because of that whole thing.
He's really dark in this movie. The scene where he's swallowing the gun.
Yes.
And, it's great because that character has come around. I might save this point for acting a little bit later.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's
because I was going to say something too. Let's say that.
Yeah, let's save that.
Okay, so story wise, there's not really a whole lot more to say. We're going one. Well, we're going one. We're beating Kenny. So story goes to Lethal Weapon 1. I'm going to circle that right now. So we got a point for Lethal Weapon 1 on the board. Next up is setting. Or do you want to go into acting? Do setting.
Do setting. Yeah.
Okay. Do setting. This is simple for me too. Not a lot to say. Both LA, both in California. So it comes down to maybe
what sets you like best.
What sets you like best, what situations you like best, and maybe the time of year. I don't know. I wanted to go 2 on this too, just because there was more the action and the places that you went. I love the scene where they take down the house. Obviously the ship at the end. There's a lot of different things, but I think I settled on 1 because I love the Christmas time setting. Mm-hmm. So you have that added in there because it is very much a Christmas movie. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, even my wife even said after watching this recently, there's 3 Christmas songs in this.
Yeah,
movie.
This is just as Christmassy, if maybe not more than Die Hard.
Yeah.
So for sure, I call this Christmas movie, but yeah, this is great, man. There was a scene. I think they went to that place on the hill with the pool where he ended up shooting the guy and he falls in the pool.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the fact that everything ended right there in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think it's just between the locations. I think most of it comes down to the Christmas setting for me.
Yeah, so much stuff happened in that Murtaugh house that Leo Getz couldn't sell it in the 3rd movie.
Yeah, there's too much going on there. Yeah, I don't know. I think it seems a little bit more tight, and I like that better.
Yeah. I actually went the opposite way. I like them both, and either way you're going to win with this thing. I liked the house on stilts.
Yes,
I thought was really cool. Yeah. And
I love that scene.
I like that the whole deal that sets up the surfboard kill where they're on that road that really curves. I like that. Mm-hmm. I do love 1. I love that whole desert sequence in that last.
Oh yeah. That's what I was thinking of earlier. Yeah, that's.
I almost wanted to give it to 1 for that.
Yes, but that was a really good shootout scene too.
But because of those and like the whole deal at the end, where they're there at the shipping yard, I thought that was a really cool setting as well. I'm going to go 2.
2. Okay.
What did Kenny say?
He said 1. Okay. So another point goes to 1. Yeah, man. So I end up I was going to say it for later. I picked. Did you pick favorite scenes, or you want to think you want to do it later? I wrote down a couple favorite scenes from each movie that I just wanted to talk about. We can do it after the fact.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get into acting. That way we can kind of finish our points from the story earlier. About Rick. Do you want to go ahead and take that?
You go ahead because I'm still working this one out.
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, so I hate to do this, and Kenny actually ended up doing this on acting. Oh man, I don't know. So Kenny, we'll put Kenny's out there first because I got to think about it too now. So Kenny put a tie.
Oh,
he tied this. So, and I understand why, because I tied it initially, but I'm also still kind of working this out in my head because 1 and 2, like. There's not bad acting.
No,
there's not bad acting in these movies, and you can't normally say that about. You could probably say more. There's better acting in buddy cop movies or buddy action movies than there are like just the old school action like Arnold type movies. But this is strong in both accounts. Mel Gibson is just as good in this as he was in the first one. Danny Glover's amazing as always. I love Joe Pesci, even though he's annoying. He plays that part to it like perfect. The 2 of them together in that scene where they go to the embassy and free South Africa, you stupid son of a, and then Joe Pesci's yeah you stupid son of a yeah. And like the bad guy, I love the bad guys. They're all just sinister and shitty. But now that I think on the surface acting's the same. So I understand where we went tie. It's just, you can't really, it's hard to pick. The only reason why I think I'm going to edge it to 1 now. I'm going to edge it to 1 is because Mel Gibson was better in 1, not because he was bad in 2. But I think it's because of all that crazy mental problems that he was still working through that first one, and of course you had that scene at the end where he hands Murtaugh his hollow point that he says in the earlier which, by the way, that that scene in the first one where he comes and get your ass in here and he slams the door and then it still swivels both ways. And he puts his gun in his mouth, or he tells him to put the gun in his mouth. He's like, every day I think about eating a bullet. And he's like, and I'm paraphrasing here because I can't remember, but he's basically like, he says, not because what you think. He's like, I think of a reason not to do it every single day. He said, the only reason that I can think of is this job, which is not what you hear out of most cops. Usually it's the job, but because his wife is dead and he's just has no reason to live. And the acting there was superb. And then I love the scene at the end where he hands him that bullet and it's like, I'm not crazy. He's like, I know you're not. And just, I don't know, but I think that just everything about Mel Gibson is always great. But I think just the scenes he had in that first one was a little bit better. And
I'm still not sure which way. I kind of want to go 2, which would make us in a tie. But Mel Gibson in the second movie, like, he faced his demons in the first movie. So he's a completely exonerated character through 3/4 of that. 2 acts of that second movie. Like, he is, he has to go to a dark place to start killing again. Which he does in that last act. So I do appreciate,
almost dying himself.
I do appreciate that he is completely carefree in the first part of 2.
That's a good point
because of what happens. So I really don't know which way to take this.
That's a good point because he kind of goes back and forth in that second one, so he maybe has a little more range. I get it.
Because there's the comedic stuff there with Leo that he's back and forth with, and he's there with the family, and it takes until they kill that girl, and that guy reveals that he killed his wife for him to snap again. And just go on.
Even though that's, like you said, a little weak, I like what you said there. I think you might have convinced me. I think because like I said, it's still so close. If you go 2, I would go 2.
And there's a scene in 1 that the acting, and it's not bad. It's the little kids. They're gonna bust Dixie. They're gonna bust that whole scene. Of course, they're little kids acting.
I can't really put that on the table for.
But that scene kind of, I don't know. If you want to go acting for acting, I'm sure there's probably something in 2 that's a little off too, but I can't think of it right off the top of my head. So I have to go 2.
I think I'll go 2. And I thought I had it figured out with that, because I went from tie to 1, now back to 2. It's just that close, man. Like,
they're both
now that you've kind of put that in better perspective for me, I think you're right. I think that even though there were some stronger scenes in 1 with Mel, the fact that he had that range in 2, I think I could see that.
He has a little bit of an arc in that movie.
I like that. Okay, we'll give that to 2.
He's got an arc in both movies.
He does. He does. I don't know. It could go either way, guys. It really can. Let us know in the comments if we're wrong on that one. But I think I'll give it 2, just so we can get 2 on the board anyway, because they're so close. Action. I went 2. I just went straight up 2. And this was 2 for Ken. This was a straight across the board for the first time.
This is bigger. They had a bigger budget. There's so much going on.
Well, dude, like I said, there's 2 different car chase scenes. The one at the beginning was awesome and fun.
Oh, you're right. I didn't have enough room.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't have enough room. The tow truck chase scene on the hills and the curves.
Death by surfboard
was so good. Bringing down the house was awesome. I love, dude. It's hard to beat that second movie. There was some good stuff in 1. I love the like the copter scene, him coming up and shooting that dude, killing that guy in the helicopter. Gary Busey, what's his name? Joshua, Mr. Joshua. And by the way, Mitchell Ryan was the main bad guy in number 1. Love Mitchell Ryan. A little shout out to all those my Halloween 6 peeps, Mr. Dr. Wynn in Halloween 6.
That's right.
He's Dr. Wynn in Halloween 6. love the characters, and I love the actors in one. But
there's just
action
so much
wise,
more.
there's
action.
so much more action going on in 2 that it kind of is a little easier for us.
Yeah, the first, and they kind of mimic each other in a way. In the first one, you've got that jumper.
Yeah,
and they go off. In the second one, they're protecting Leo, and they go out the window and into the swimming pool. And so a lot of ways they parallel each other.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I said this is a perfect 1-2 punch for Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
It's too good.
So what does that put us at going into the last?
We're tied.
We're tied up. Okay,
we're tied up. So this is
what we want.
Yeah, this is what we. Yeah, this is what we want. I didn't mean for that to happen, but that's the way it worked. That's the way it worked out. There won't be a tie. There will not be a tie in this one. We've got a winner for sure. I think already. But antagonist, I'll let you do it.
Antagonist, Lethal Weapon 1.
Okay. Well, so we straight across the board.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Kenny and I both picked one.
Yeah, Mr. Joshua, and this is what's Ryan's name in this thing? It's something Irish, but
I'll look it up real quick. It's
they are far scarier bad guys than the South African diplomats.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
I absolutely love them. That scene where he says, "Let me see your arm," and he burns Joshua's arm in front of Edo Ross.
Yes,
you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
They and I do like I was saying earlier, how these movies mirror each other. They've got that scene. The last scene happens there in the house, that fight where he comes in with the machine gun, and then they have the fight on the lawn.
Yes,
and then you got the diplomats trying to get them to back off of them, and they come and tie them up in their own bed at one point. I like that.
Oh, I didn't even. I forgot to mention this. Michael Hunsaker. It's Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins. Mitchell Ryan's the general, just the general. There's another name for him.
Yeah,
I know it. Not Hunsaker. Slowing down the movie. Oh, McAllister. Yeah,
I knew it was something Irish.
Peter McAllister.
Yeah,
Kevin McAllister.
Yeah. Yeah, after this, they're going to go to Paris.
Now we know how. Now we know how the McAllisters got all their money. All the selling heroin. That makes more sense. Yeah. No, it's all connected.
I was actually doing some research, and in the first movie, Shane Black wanted it to blow up and actually rain heroin like snow.
Really?
And then in the second one, he actually put it back in the script since they didn't use it, and the diplomats were going to use cocaine.
Nice.
And so there was going to be cocaine.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, but neither one of them really got used.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I agree with you on that. I think I do like the South American South African diplomat. Yeah, diplomat. It's just been revoked. South Africans are okay. Kind of spooky. Definitely like mean. Like they kill some people. But you ain't gonna get much more sinister than that group in one, especially Gary Busey leading that. Man, Mr. Joshua he was a savage son of a gun.
Hunsaker, they think's a leak, and he was leaking information, and they just straight up shoot him at his daughter's funeral.
Yes. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, they gave no F's. Well, yeah, so that was a little smoother than I expected. We kind of worked out a couple things on
acting was. And I don't know that was the right answer, but that's how we felt today.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just kind of up to everybody. I think action and the antagonist was easy. Yeah. I think if you have those categories, I think those are the easiest ones. Story, maybe not as easy, but I still think it's fairly easy for me. Anyway. Setting just kind of a toss-up. It's just whatever you prefer.
Yeah, they're kind of similar.
I just kind of threw the Christmas thing out for me personally. I think Kenny did the same thing. And then acting, like you said, that's the toughest one, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
So what were your favorite scenes? You said you had a couple.
Yeah. So favorite scenes from the first movie was definitely was probably, other than the argument, or not the argument, but that scene in that the corner store where, he told him why.
Yeah.
Just acting wise. Fun wise, my two favorite probably, and there's so many, so it's hard, but it was hard at first, but I'd say the range.
Yeah.
When he shot the smiley face in there, and he just is just nonchalantly humming, and he hit the button, and he just kept going back and back all the way to the back wall, and then just unloaded his Beretta and did the smiley face. I love that scene. That exchange was so good. And then, of course, one of the funniest ones for me was Mr. Sniper Sir.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Sniper Sir. And just, he lures them out and then just bam, just awesome.
Do you do cops or just little kids?
Yeah, just little kids. And he got him mad enough to peek out, took him out. Of course, he got some shots off, missed him. Oh God, that was so good. There's a lot of good scenes in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know that I can pick a favorite scene in one. They're so good. Mm-hmm. Like, just to say, I know I love that scene there where they get Tom Atkins, because that scene there on that point that they're on is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good setting. That's a good setting.
Shot. Yeah. Yeah. That should have been a point to setting.
That probably should have been.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I love that. I love all the Joe Pesci stuff into, they were so smart to bring that character into this movie.
I do too, yeah.
Just love Leo Getz. He reminds me of a friend of mine that
that scene in 2 was also pretty good, where he shot the fish tank.
Yeah,
that was a good one. But my 2 favorite in that was the toilet bomb scene. That whole thing was just great. We're gonna get you out of here, man. He's just he's on the pot and he's just like
It's played for laughs, but they have a great scene.
They do
there where he says Riggs. He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
or don't let me die like this. Or something like that. But just before they go.
Awesome. And of course, bringing the house down off the cliff was so awesome. It was it's so iconic too. And they actually there's a mission, towards the beginning of Grand Theft Auto 5. And it's actually the first or second mission with Michael, one of the main characters, who's kind of this almost De Niro type character from Heat. They kind of mimic that a little bit too. Yeah. And his wife is who's been banging or supposedly banging the I think it was one of the yoga or tennis player or something like that. And it's one of the very first missions you do as Franklin meets Michael, and that was you get this utility truck with this cable on the front, and you have to strap it to one of the supporting beams, and boom, yep. And I don't know if that was the name of the mission or what. It might have been.
Oh, that's funny.
But you just back up and then you keep plugging away. It might have been on the back. Either way, yeah, you take down his, and it turns out it's not even his house. He was just like staying there or fled there. But yeah, you chase him in a car all the way up to the hill, and then you bring it down, and you're like, holy shit! And so basically, the guy, you end up having to do work for the guy who it actually belonged to pay back the debt or whatever.
Yeah. I like that. I really love the opening scene in 2, where he drives Danny Glover's wife's car.
Oh yes.
That's just what a way to open a movie.
Yes. Oh God, you can't go wrong with either one, like we said.
No.
Over and over again. Guys, I guess there ain't much more to say unless you got something else to say.
No. Lethal Weapon 1's the winner in this one.
Okay.
I guess we got our answer.
We got our answer. Lethal Weapon 1. Not by much, but we've got it. And what we got coming up versus wise? We got the vampire still?
Yeah. I don't know if we wanted to do vampires or just turn that into a podcast.
Because we were going to do From Dusk Till Dawn versus
Vampires.
John Carpenter's Vampires.
Let us know if you want to see that.
Yeah, let us know you want to see that. If not, we can do a podcast or discussion on all vampire movies, or at least our favorite vampire movies, because we got through Lost Boys and stuff like that.
You know what we got coming up?
What's that?
For our Halloween special.
Oh,
or will this air after that?
I don't know. It just depends on when I can get this up.
Yeah.
So I hate to commit anything because I've got so much stuff I'm putting out. Just in case I don't, I'll just go ahead and say it. If it's after October 31st, then I guess disregard. But we do have Halloween specials coming up. We've got a thing. We want to do some Halloween rankings. We'll be live streaming at least one of them for sure, if not 2. We were thinking about doing a best Halloween sequel versus between maybe 2 and 4.
Yeah. It has to be 2 versus 4.
2, that's what I think so too. And then we want to do some rankings too. I've been wanting to do some ranking videos on my channel. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to live stream to every one of them just because, we're doing this collaboration thing and we want it available to everybody. So we want to do some Halloween rankings. We'll be ranking the movies, probably the masks and the Myers. And we want to talk about the characters. I want to talk about the characters. I was going to do lead female leads or final girls and then do the same for the guys. It's a little muddy in Halloween. It's not as clear cut as Friday. So I think we're just going to do not even lead, just best characters. I think we're just going to rank characters, and I don't know if we're doing top 5 or we're going to do, I don't know what we're doing it. We're going to do that. And I've got one scheduled. So we're going to be looking out for that in case this is before Halloween, because it will be there at some point really soon. And if it's afterwards, then go back and watch them. Yeah. That's all I can say. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up today, for this versus, and we'll see you all very shortly.